As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
All right. Another episode of Saturday Mornings with Crunch Time. I'm Caleb Czarnik. I'm with Michael Gentry. Thank you for tuning in, Mike. I just got to get something off my chest real quick.
Let's hear it.
I mean, obviously, tons of snow. Some would say a shit ton of snow, maybe too much. And I have a bone to pick with a certain person. Not person, a thing. The stupid groundhog. Sick and tired of that thing.
Yeah.
I'm starting to believe that stuff's true. Because if I'm not mistaken, he saw a shadow or whatever, and now there's a million other weeks of winter.
Yeah.
If I have to spend one more minute shoveling my driveway, Mike, I'm going to lose my mind, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the groundhog, I feel like every time he does his prediction, it's the opposite of what he said. I thought this time it was supposed to be like a good prediction that it was over. I could be wrong, though. But
I don't
it's
listen
obviously
to that propaganda.
It's obviously not over, though, as you have to go shovel your snow after this, as do I. It's not looking good out there, Caleb.
I'll say this, though. Shoveling snow is the best out of all of the seasonal tasks. Raking leaves, I'd rather jump off a cliff, I think, than rake leaves.
Because then you got to bag them after, and that's like the worst part.
It's the worst thing. Or picking weeds during the summertime. Yeah, not doing that. Shoveling the snow is the best, but at the same time, it feels like I'm just wasting time doing that. I mean, there's a million feet of snow.
Yeah, you exert a lot of energy too, and then you come back in your house and you're just sweaty as hell. So that's not good. But I don't know. I would say it's definitely better than picking weeds or raking leaves. Especially my house. I have a big ass tree right in front of my house. It is huge. So when it's fall time, my whole entire yard is just covered. There's still leaves out in the street from fall time. Like it's unreal.
Dude, it's like we need to come up. Actually, I tried to make one before. It was with a shop vac. So you just take all the leaves with that. Mike, I'll tell you this. I'm no Einstein and I'm no inventor because it didn't work. So we'll be brainstorming pretty soon here for the fall. But yeah, this winter stuff. Look, I'm a fan of winter. I see this Donkey Kong right here. F winter. I'm not out on winter. I'm a winter guy. But
I'm not. Caleb, are you really though? Because all you've been talking about is summertime and how you want to golf.
Well, dude, because you know why? I like the cold, but I hate the snow. So it's at a little rock and a hard place type thing. Booner, are we about to get snowed in? Sounds like a PGA day today. Boone, we got a lot of sports on today. I mean, a lot of fun sports. We're gonna get to some of that today. But yeah, fuck the snow, groundhog. I'm going to dig up some old dirt on the groundhog so we can get him canceled. And so that big event they have is it's over because I'm
fair, though, honestly, I don't care about the snow as long as it's not affecting the roads. But when it's cold as hell outside, like it's terrible. It's terrible. When that wind chill is hitting, Caleb, can't tell me wrong.
What's better, 32 or 90?
90.
You're just Mike.
What?
We
are surrounded by water, Caleb. You could jump in the water. You could drink beer. That's beer drinking weather on the course.
I could drink beer at any temperature ever. I mean, it could be negative 20 and I will. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I can't believe you would take 30 degrees over 90 degrees though. You're insane.
That's just the way I rock.
Okay.
You have to respect that. That's just the way I roll. Daytona 500 tomorrow, Boone. Daytona 500. Yes, I'm getting into NASCAR this year. Never have before. Honestly, no disrespect to NASCAR. Always thought it was insanely, I don't want to say the word stupid because that's mean.
It's boring.
It's boring. It's insanely boring. But I'm going to get into it this year. Might throw some money down on there. I don't know any of the cars, nothing. But that should be
I don't even know like people that are really into NASCAR anymore outside of Boone and Nick Leach, 2 NASCAR guys. But like, there's not a lot out there anymore. Daytona 500. I know that's the big one, but I don't know. I don't even remember or know half the racers anymore. Half the drivers, rather.
I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know they're kind of, or are they in the same season? I feel like the popularity of golf, that rising, kind of took away from all of NASCAR. Because, dude, I remember as a kid, like, watching SportsCenter in the morning, and, like, a lot of it would be NASCAR. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I would say 25% of it. NASCAR.
Yeah.
Boone. Come on, man. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have a massive following, dude. It has a following.
It does have it does have its people. I don't know what you would consider massive.
I wouldn't call it massive. But there's a following.
Boone's a big NASCAR guy, standing up for his people. We can respect that, I guess.
No, and I'm on board. I'm starting to branch out to other sports. Obviously hockey I'm getting into more. NASCAR, I guess, is next. That's the next step because golf, basketball, football, baseball, already love those.
Yep.
I guess NASCAR is next. I'll have to tap in. Rick C, NASCAR has more loyal fans than any sport. Yeah, I mean, baseball also has a very loyal fan base, but I'm not disrespecting. I'm not trying to disrespect the NASCAR fans, but I don't know if it's a massive following. There's a following.
Boone's gonna get the following after you. They're gonna come in here chirping the NASCAR faithful.
Yeah, and those are probably really scary people. I mean, those people I don't want to really mess with. So maybe I should shut my mouth, Mike. But Gentry, that's enough about the winter and NASCAR. We had some. So we
got carried away.
We had some big news this week. Obviously, I tried to reverse jinx us on last Saturday, saying Alex Bregman was going to be a Tiger. I was wrong. Alex Bregman signs with the Red Sox 3 years, $120 million with 2 opt-outs. I have a couple thoughts about this. And first thing is, nobody on planet Earth would turn down $40 million when you don't deserve it, right? And I know the whole offseason I was saying I would give anything for Bregman, blah, blah, blah. $40 million was not an offer I saw being on Bregman's table at all. It doesn't matter the team, doesn't even matter if it was the Dodgers. I didn't think anybody would give him $40 million. And I get it. It's only 3 years. He's going to absolutely mash in Fenway. I mean, he's going to tear it up there. That is such a hitter-friendly ballpark, especially for righties.
Yep.
But, I mean, Mike, you look at this Tigers offer, 6 years, $170 million. That should have gotten it done for Bregman, no?
Yeah, no, that should have, like you said, I'm surprised at the 4 years, $120 million, but I'm pretty sure he has opt-outs after each year with the Red Sox, so that might have softened the blow for both sides on that. But I mean, you can't hate on the Tigers for what they had the best offer out there, and he was looking for that longer-term deal at first. Obviously, kind of backpedaled to the 4 years, $120 million, because why not? But what he was originally looking for is kind of what the Tigers offered, and they did have the best offer out there. And kind of like you said, Fenway might have been a big influence to him as it being a hitter's ballpark compared to Comerica Park, where obviously not so great for hitters. And Bregman has a history of hitting very well in Fenway before, obviously playing for the Red Sox now. So that definitely probably had to have some sort of an influence on him.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, when we're talking ballparks, I truly think he was afraid to come hit here in Comerica. I do. I think, I posted a TikTok about it, and a lot of people in the comments were saying, no, it's just because you don't want to live in Detroit, blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you don't think that Comerica Park was brought up between him and Scott Boras, you're just wrong. That was definitely talked about. It's not a hitter-friendly ballpark for right-handed hitters. It's not. To hit to the pull side in Comerica Park and hit for power is a difficult thing to do. And it's hard for me to say that he's scared to do it, but it definitely scared him away. I mean, and I'm not telling like, them to move the fences in because they already did that.
Yeah.
I just think Comerica Park, it's going to be difficult to attract other right-handed hitters, in free agency. And I don't know. I mean, I just want players that want to be here. Obviously, Bregman didn't want to be here. It was written on the wall from the beginning. It sounded like we had the best offer all off season, and it just wouldn't come. It almost felt like he was using the Tigers as leverage. And Mike, I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of on the train of fuck Bregman, rooting for his downfall. And yeah, I kind of do you think Comerica Park played a factor in Bregman's decision?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the deal was kind of what he wanted years wise, and then he backpedaled to the 4 year or 3 years, 120 million, which I mean, 40 million a year, like you said, he didn't deserve that. So, I mean, I guess I would take it if I was him too. And then, like you said, he's put in a better situation there as far as for his personal interests as hitting goes, playing at Fenway Park rather than playing with the deep left field in Comerica Park. But I still like the situation team wise here. Like fit wise rather with Detroit over the Red Sox. But I mean, it is what it is. He chose the situation, and obviously he doesn't have too many years left on his career to begin with. So kind of avoiding that longer term contract might be better for the Tigers in the future if they end up making a move at the deadline or even, in the coming weeks, who knows?
Is that rude of me to, not rude, but is that like an overreaction of me to say kind of fuck Bregman? Because I do feel like he kind of used the Tigers as leverage. I do. The Tigers had the best offer on the table. 6 years, $171 million for a 30-year-old first baseman. That is a good offer. A two-time All-Star. Dude, that is a good offer. Now Alex Bregman is the fourth highest paid player in baseball. Think about that. Alex Bregman is getting the same amount of money or near the same amount of money as Mookie Betts.
Like Aaron Judge, right?
And I guess I'll ask you this. Because hats off to Scott Harris and Chris Ilitch. Hats off. Because that is a competitive offer, and that showed that you wanted him in Detroit. But my question to you is, if we would have signed him for 40, would you have been like, oh, shit, okay, hold on, that's a little bit too much? Or would you have been like, okay, we went all in, now we're good?
Obviously, if it was the 40 million or if it was kind of the same deal that the Red Sox have with him and the opt-outs after each year and for both sides or whatever, I don't know. I would still be a little hesitant because it's that much money, but 3 years, you kind of have a timeline with that, and you still could be able to play some of your players in the future and whatnot. And I don't know, it kind of keeps them locked in and right back to where they were last year and actually above last year, adding the hitter like Bregman. But I mean, if it was long term and you're giving him that type of money, it just raises some question marks. I don't know. It's definitely risky business locking him down long term to that type of deal. But if there's some opt-outs in it and it was shorter term, I really wouldn't have hated it, to be honest. But like you said, hats off for them to even giving what we thought was the best offer and the best amount of years, that what interested him rather. So, I mean, hats off to them.
Yeah, and I know it's a lot of the time it's not joking. Well, first I'll say I've really turned a corner on Scott Harris. I do like what he's doing there. Obviously, this comes with every GM. This comes with Brad Holmes for me. Not really much Trajan so far, but like there are some things they do where I'm like, what the? I mean, really? But so I've really turned. Go ahead.
I was gonna say. So where do you think they go, like third baseman wise now with this move? Obviously not happening. Like,
well, obviously. The talk is Nolan Arenado, and Mike, I'm just going to go out and say we're not going to get Nolan Arenado. He's on a cheap deal. Like, it would be a nice move. He's on a very cheap deal. I think he's only, I think it's 15 million next year, 16 the next year. He's been a good hitter, and he's an elite glove. I mean, I think the common misconception is that he's had this horrendous fall off these past couple of years, but Nolan Arenado has been a great hitter. I just don't see Scott Harris going to make a move like that, and I don't know how much we would have to give up just because I don't I don't think he wants to give away some of those pieces in the farm that are going to help us long term. Even though, me personally, that's how you win baseball games, in my opinion. That's how you become a contender. Is you gotta sacrifice some of those prospects to go get players like Nolan Arenado. But Mike, I mean, I'm looking at this like roster right now. It's Vierling and Young and Andy Ibanez at third base. Vierling, if you want to talk the platoon with Vierling and Young at third base, Vierling, 275 average against left-handed pitching, 720 OPS against left-handed pitching. Young, 232 against right-handed pitching, 658 OPS, and he's not a good defender. So this is where you get stuck in this, like, we don't really have a third baseman conversation. There was really no backup plan to not getting Bregman. And, you know, I'm not mad about not getting Bregman because I wouldn't want him paid him I didn't want to pay him $40 million. And I don't think he wanted to be here, and he would have just been here for the money, but you don't have a backup plan now. As of right now, the Tigers don't have an everyday third baseman, and that's what they need. I mean, Nolan Arenado would be a good piece, but I just don't see that being a move the Tigers make.
Yeah, and kind of like we talked about with Bregman, I mean, the situation doesn't get too much better with Nolan hitting in Comerica Park as to Bregman too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a big struggle. He doesn't really fit the ballpark, even though he is elite. He makes some damn good plays at third base, as a hell of a glove. But I don't know if even if that, like you said, if it's like shorter term and you kind of get him with that cheap contract, I guess it's a plus. But you still kind of have a problem there as far as bats go. So I mean, you still kind of need to address that. Maybe if they're hotter towards the deadline, he has room to go out and make a move. But I don't know how much I would love that move as of now compared to Bregman.
I mean, and we're going to get into it in a little bit, like what our expectations for some of these players in spring training is. And, you know, for me, I'll just go out and say it right now. I mean, Jace Young is one of those players that needs to have a good spring. And obviously it's 1 month of baseball. We all know how baseball is. You could have a really bad month and then a really good month. So, I mean, you got to kind of take everything that happens in spring, besides really with pitchers, with a grain of salt. But obviously, you would like to see a good spring out of Jace Young because he was one of our highest prospects, you know, going into last year, and a lot of excitement for him, a left-handed bat. But man, he really does struggle at third base. And you look at it, it's like, and you got Hao-Yu Lee, another player that could play third base. You know, he got invited to spring training. I'm excited to see him play. But like, this is like, I would love if Gleyber Torres just sacrificed and spent an off season and was like, okay, I'll play third base. If we don't get Bregman, I'll play third base, and then Colt Keith goes back to second, and then you go Justin Henry Malloy full time at first base. And I can see that little smirk on your face, Mike. And we're gonna get to this right now. We're going to get to this right now because, wow, this ticked me off. I don't know if you saw these comments, but so the Tigers bought this like brand new batting cage, right? It has all the bells and whistles, very high tech, shows you video of the swing, shows you swing path, shows you, you know, it adjusts with the weather. It's
basically
stuff.
Like a golf simulator for baseball.
Yeah. It's perfect. And Wheezy, no, it's not. This is all Torquate. This is literally my first time bringing him up. And if you look at these comments and you say that this is like what a career 221 hitter should say, then I don't know what to tell you. Because, I mean, so they got this brand new batting cage. Everybody on the team is using it. And this is from Torque. He said, that's not the way I roll. I'm pretty old school in the fact that felt good. Ball flight looked good. That must have worked. Hey, Torque, maybe the way you roll is not the right way. Obviously, you hit 30 bombs 2 years ago. Almost feels like the biggest anomaly in sports. You're a 221 career hitter. Fucking terrible. Switch things up. You go down to AAA, your swing doesn't change a bit. Look at a guy like Parker Meadows. He struggled mightily in the first half of the year last year. Came back up, hit 296, shortened his swing up, just tried to make contact. In the MLB, and do I look like an MLB player, Mike? So
you can swing the bat, Caleb.
Okay, sure. I mean, that was a trick question. The answer is yes. But look, I'm not an MLB player, but I could understand hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports, especially against major league hitting. God-given talent isn't going to get it done. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Spencer Torkelson is not a hard worker. He's statistically one of the hardest workers on the planet because he's a professional athlete. But changes need to be made to his swing, and hearing that he's not willing to even hit in that cage. And obviously, and AJ Hinch, talked about it yesterday. He's going to have his head, in the iPad. He's going to be looking at all that stuff. But those comments just didn't sit right with me, Mike. What were your thoughts on these comments from him?
So I don't know if that was like an actual interview. I did see like the quote tweet on it, but kind of like you said, if a person like Torkelson, struggling young guy earlier on in his career, has shown flashes, I don't see why you wouldn't just have like open ears to your coaching staff and kind of be stingy on decisions like that, especially if it's something like how you ended last year and just terrible note. Wouldn't you want to kind of get everything back in line, get the Ducks back in line, and get some good swings in, listen to your coaches, change things up if they needed to be changed to? I just don't like the fact that he's not willing, and he has been stingy about stuff like that. He has been, when he had 30 home runs, he was such a big part of that team, and he was such a missing part last year. If we had some of those home runs, who knows how far that would have taken the Tigers regular season, postseason, everything. So him being the first overall pick and stuff not working out like that and being stingy on decisions that helps your growth as a player, it's disappointing for Spencer Torkelson, to say the least.
Yeah, and I get it. He's the 1-1, and I'm excited to see, what he can do if he's going to make the team and stuff. But, like, the fact that AJ Hinch is basically saying, like, hey, it's a competition at first now. They're obviously seeing stuff, inside the building where it's like, okay, maybe this guy's not it. If he was the man and they were going to be patient on him or patient with him, that first base job would be his. He was the number 1 overall pick, one of the best college hitters in the past 10 years, one of the most generational prospects we've seen. And he just hasn't gotten it done. But shout out Doc being in the chat. Chick-fil-A is killing Detroit sports. Rally Green was addicted to chicken. Yeah, he had to give it up. He had the headline to, I think it was Evan Petzold's article was, I think it was Evan Petzold. I'm sorry if that's not correct, but his relationship with Chick-fil-A, that's kind of what the headline was, and he had to end it. So maybe we'll see some stolen bags out of Rally Green this year. But yeah, I mean, Torque.
But
I guess that goes. Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, so what's the plan with Torque at that point in time then? If they're looking at other options and they're not for sure, like, where do you go at this point with him? Because even though the Tigers may think, we got nothing left for him, like, we can't find something for him, he is a 1-1 and he is a power hitter. And I guarantee there is a team out in the MLB that thinks, maybe we can turn this switch, do this, and, kind of bring him back to, his prospect potential, rather, I guess you could say. But what do you think the plan is for him if it's not going to work out for him at first base? You don't want to just hold him in AAA. You don't want to just do nothing with him. If you can go out and get something, wouldn't you just move him?
Well, I'll say this. There's no room for him on the Tigers. Cole Keith's going to run away with that spot. Justin Henry Malloy, who's kind of making the transition to first base, I think is going to end up, having more success here with the Tigers than Spencer Torkelson. Obviously it's hard to have conversations about him because he hit 30 home runs 2 years ago.
Yeah. But
it feels fluky, Mike. Am I wrong? It felt like it felt fluky, but a change of scenery will help Torque. I don't know how we're going to get that done. And I could go grab my Torque jersey right there. So, if I'm not a Torque hater, man, it's just frustrating to watch. I'm a fan. I want to see him succeed. I'm a fan of Spencer Torkelson. But those comments and especially after the year he had last year, and Weezy D, when did Colt Keith become unanimously better than Torque? When Colt Keith was probably our third best hitter on the team during a playoff push, or maybe our second best hitter. I mean, that's why. And I get it. Like, Weezy D, I'm with you with the whole, like, I would be pissed listening to me right now talking about Torque because he's a guy we all want to hold on to and have a lot of expectations for, but it drives me crazy kind of holding on to that hope because I don't know if it's coming, and like I said, Cole Keith is going to run away with that position. Cole Keith is so talented and I'm so excited to see what he's going to do this year for the Tigers, especially because we're going to need him even more, not adding a Bregman. We're going to need a guy like him to take an even bigger jump this year. But, Mike, I'm going to ask you this. Outside of Spencer Torkelson, because that's kind of the obvious, and we talked about Jace Young a little bit, what players or player do you want to see go out and have need to go out and have a good spring for the Tigers to either earn a roster spot or earn a position in the starting 9 or the rotation?
Honestly, I don't know about earn it, but I just would want to see another good spring. Colt Keith and kind of like you said, Jahan. If we're gonna have some question marks at first base, if Jahan kind of show some consistent swings, I mean that would be ideal. I mean, I would really like to see that because obviously, like we talked about with Spencer Torkelson, not looking too great, and then Colt Keith. If I don't know who's going to be moved around, but you could say who's ever playing third base, second base, kind of the guys bouncing around those unsure positions that you really do have, kind of those guys blossoming would be just totally okay for me. So,
yeah. I mean, that's if Jahan can be that dude and be like that DH when Carey needs to play right field, that helps the Tigers offense so much.
I like Jahan a lot, so that would probably be mine. But
yeah, I got 2 outside of Jace Young and Spencer Torkelson, or I guess 3, and WeezyD said in the chat, Trey Sweeney is 1.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what we're getting out of Baez. I'd love to see a good spring out of Trey Sweeney so he could maybe take that. He could take that, starting shortstop position from Javi. But he is a lefty. We got a lot of lefties in this lineup. So there's going to be some sort of platoon there. Maybe they pick someone up to platoon with them. But if Trey Sweeney lights it up in spring training, I think he'll be the opening day starter. But I got 2, Casey Mize. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with Joe. We don't know if he's going to start the year with the Tigers. And this is one of the first offseasons that Casey Mize hasn't had to rehab.
Yeah.
So he's got to use the whole offseason to get better. We saw last year he was throwing hard as fuck, dude. 98. He has all the makings of a good pitcher, but if he could just find that splitter, if he could improve that slider, dude, he's going to be a really good pitcher. So I want to see a good spring training out of Casey Mize. I'm not talking lights out, but I'm talking okay, this guy can give us 5 innings every 5 days, and we'll be in good positions to win. Because if he could be our 5 starter, and you see that Alex Cobb's not going to start the year on the opening day roster, which holy hell, we just gave that guy $15 million, and he's not even going to be ready. But especially with the Alex Cobb injury, you have a guy like Casey Mize who's going to have to come in and throw some significant innings. I would love to see a good spring out of him. And another guy is Parker Meadows, and we know what we get out of Parker Meadows defensively. Dude, Mike, we talk about this every show. He gets brought up every show because I'm with you, dude. This guy's going to be a stud. And we saw it, I brought it up a little bit earlier. That swing change he made in the middle of last year, after going down to, AAA, shortened his swing, just focused on, getting contact, hitting the ball in the gaps, hitting the ball the opposite way a little bit, struck out a lot less. If we could see that again this spring, I'm telling you right now, this dude's going to be a top 5 center fielder just because what he does on the defensive side or with his glove. He's a Gold Glove center fielder,
Yep.
not technically, but he's going to win one. He's going to win multiple. And dude, if he could have just an above average offensive season, the Tigers are that much better. Out of the leadoff spot, if he's going to steal 35 bags. If he could walk 80 times and have a 810, 820 OPS, dude, this guy is one of the best center fielders in baseball. That's how good he is defensively. He's going to steal bases. He's going to hit for a little bit of power. Elite glove. Parker Meadows is that guy for me, in spring training. I really want to see if that swing change, translates to this year, or if he just went back to his old ways. But Mike,
I could have said him too, but as you know, that is my Tiger, so I'm confident in him. There's no fall off. He's going to hit the ground running. So I don't need to hope for Parker Meadows. We already know what he is in the field. That swing, he figured it out. He's going to be all right. But I love him.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. 35 bags. WeezyD, 35 bags. That's what he's got. He's getting 35 bags. If there was a most improved player award in baseball, Parker Meadows would be that guy. He'd be that guy. That's enough Tigers. We're going to talk a lot of Tigers over the next few weeks. Spring training. I'll be putting content out, as much as I can with all the spring training stuff and what I think my expectations are going to be for this year. But let's pivot to some Pistons here, Mike. Playoff push, full swing. Obviously, it's All-Star Weekend. You end, your first half of the season on a 4-game win streak. You absolutely beat the piss out of the 4 teams, or I guess the 3 teams you played: Bulls, Sixers, and Charlotte. And I think a big reason is Asar Thompson and Jalen Duren. Obviously, you're getting really good play out of Cade, but dude, Asar Thompson, what he's done as the primary ball handler for the Pistons, he's been unreal. His ability to play defense, guard 1 through 5, rebound, get to the rim, finish against bigger defenders, find open men. He's that dude, Mike. Asar Thompson.
And I said it kind of last week too. Like, I wanted to see him take more shades from his brother and like the ball handling aspect. And then he just shut my mouth 3 games in a row, Caleb. So I can't say anything more. We kind of got to see that more in-depth look at it as him being a ball handler, and he looked unreal in the starting lineup the past 3 games and whatnot. So he was Thompson, and then Jalen Duren too. A big thing with him, I think, is staying out of foul trouble early. And when he's able to be that active defensively, and obviously he's a double-double machine rather, he's just been unreal too. So staying out of foul trouble for Jalen Duren, being more mature in the defensive zone, I think has been huge for him. And obviously the alley-oops keep coming. He's getting involved on the offensive end too. But yeah, Azur Thompson too, man. Unreal. We got him in action tonight, or we had him in action last night.
Yeah.
Rather.
Did you see that shit?
Not tonight anymore because they lost.
Dude,
but
did you see what happened?
Yeah.
So they had. Oh my god, dude! What the hell? He missed 4 free throws to lose to the G League team, man. What the hell? I was so excited to watch it. I wanted him to cut some lobs from Amon and stuff, but dude, missed 4 free throws. Damn it!
Yeah.
Come on,
So
but
we don't get to see him in action again tonight. But that was tough.
I think he'll be in like the dunk contest, maybe. Not this year, but maybe maybe him and Amon do it. Like,
they have a lot of weird. I mean, I know we'll talk more about All-Star Weekend after the Pistons, but I don't know. I don't know how I like that format. It's kind of different.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because I have some opinions on it, and that kind of sounds like you do too. But yeah, Asar Thompson, 14.6 points a game. This is in February. 14.6 points a game, which, by the way, is the same as Amon Thompson, which is crazy. 6.1 rebounds, 4.4 assists, 2.1 steals on 69% shooting from the field. This guy's a weapon. He's a unicorn. Mike, if you don't have one, it's fine because I don't. I mean, the only one maybe I could think of is like a young Andre Iguodala. Do you have like an NBA comp for Amon and Asar? Because I made a video yesterday about it, a reel, and I was like, I can't think of a guy that this guy reminds me of.
I'd have to kind of think on that because like a lengthy forward, can't obviously shoot
is he a
as
forward?
great. What?
But is he a forward? That's kind of like
yeah. I mean, forward / guard hybrid ball. I don't know. He does a lot of different things. So I don't know. That's a tough comp to find for sure.
Yeah, and he's a. I mean,
and even like Andre Iguodala did not have the handles or playmaking skills so like it's tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, these guys are unicorns. Asar and Amon. Obviously, I hope Asar is way better than Amon, but I think their trajectory is going to be the exact same because they're almost identical players. I think Amon handles the ball a little bit better, but I think Asar is a little more athletic. And both of their perimeter defenses are insane. And I'll say this, and I wonder what you guys in the chat have to think. I think Asar Thompson lately. Obviously, shout out Malik Beasley. Obviously, shout out Jalen Duren. Obviously, shout out Tobias Harris, who we'll get to in 1 second. I think Asar Thompson has been the Pistons' second best player for the past month. I mean, that's not crazy to say, right? That's 6 games. He's been the Pistons' second best player. He's been the number 2 option.
Yeah.
I mean, the offense is running through Asar Thompson 35-40% of the time. And we haven't really seen a guy like that with Cade, obviously without Jaden Ivey. So this has been perfect for the Pistons. This is the rise of Asar Thompson. Shout out Flannel in the chat. It's Saturday. What's going on, Flannel? Good morning.
Caleb, I know we kind of talked about it last week, but what does this mean for when Jaden Ivey does come back? How do they kind of mesh these two in? Where do you think they go from that angle? Do you think Azor comes off the bench? Do you think they keep him in the starting lineup? Do you want to separate them? Because obviously you've seen what Azor can do as a primary ball handler. Like, where do you go with this once Jaden Ivey comes back?
This is how you go with it. You just got much better as a team when Jaden Ivey comes back. You keep them both in the starting lineup, and you just see what happens. You let it play through. And it depends when Jaden Ivey comes back, because you don't want to, like, slot him in immediately right in that spot.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to match just fine, because Asar has shown he obviously succeeds with the ball and being that primary ball handler. But, you know, we've seen that he's a good cutter. You know, he could play off the ball. He could rebound like no other. So he's going to have success on this team. And I think even a guy like Asar is going to help Jaden Ivey getting him more open looks and everything. And, you know, Coach Walk says that Tim Hardaway comes off the bench. Yeah, I love what Tim Hardaway does for this team, but I mean, when Jaden Ivey comes back, you can't take Asar out of the starting lineup. And, you know, a starting lineup of Cade, Jaden Ivey, Asar, Tobias, and Duren. Yep, sign me up for that. That's pretty damn good, honestly, and young. That's going to be a team that's going to be really good for a long time. Speaking of Jalen Duren, I just want to touch on one thing with him real quick. February. He's averaging, or I guess during the win streak, Jaden Ivey, I'm all over the place. In February, Jalen Duren is averaging 4 assists, and over these past 4 games, the win streak, 5.7 assists. His playmaking is something else. As an athletic freak like that, who could pass the ball as a 6'10 center, yeah, that's going to help you win games. Big time. That's going to help you win games, Mike. And then, real quick, before we get to All-Star Weekend, Tobias Harris.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. I didn't know if you're going there. He's been playing solid. He's been
Shout out Tobias Harris. Shout out Tobias Harris. He's a bucket right now. He's averaging 17.9, points in February. He's a bucket. He's kind of he's turning into one of those guys where shot clock's winding down. Cade's not on the floor. You give the ball to Tobias in the post, and he's going to get you one. That's the player he's turning into, and that's the player we need him to be.
I like that he's kind of steered away from standing in the corner and just shooting all those corner threes. He's kind of evolved from that part of his game. And like you said, he's gotten more mid-range. He's gotten more bully ball, taking people to the rack and the post and whatnot. He's just been unreal. But you can't just have him sitting in the corner when you got Tim Hardaway and Malik Beasley. You already have these guys. Tobias, you've seen what you can do on the offensive end, using your body, using your strength, getting down low. So he's got to use all aspects, and he's been doing that. So good for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's been. It feels like they're really, really hitting their stride, and I hope it's not one of those things where it's like, you go up and then it's kind of this. I hope it kind of just goes up and stays steady. Because I mean, Tobias has taken that step, Asar's taken that step, Jalen Duren's taken that step. Obviously, Cade's been unreal. Malik Beasley's been lights out. Just broke the franchise record for threes in a year. I mean, shout out. That guy, he smashed the record. But yeah, everybody, it seems to be clicking big time right now. And they're winning games, and you see the defensive identity, and you see everything starting to turn around for this franchise. And I wish they didn't have to go on break right now, because I remember we talked about it with the Wings, playing so good, and then they have to take that long break. I'm kind of worried about the Pistons doing that, but I think they're going to go right back into it. I think we start after the All-Star break with San Antonio. So, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited, man. The playoff push is real, and I think Jeff said it yesterday on the show. I think they could win a playoff series depending on who they play. So, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Do you not think so?
It kind of obviously depends on the matchup, but if they're playing well right now, like I said, Cade Cunningham's going to be a different beast in playoff basketball. So, kind of have to wait and see. I think obviously if they somehow go down to the play-in, like they will beat one of those teams in a series to make it into the actual playoffs. I 100% believe that. But there's some tough teams in the top East, and all I know is Cade will be balling and be a different breed in playoff basketball. And either way, you don't win a series, whatever, you show competitiveness, it's still a step forward for what this team has been through, and it's just going to be a building block for their future. Like, obviously, you can go on after this season. You can bring some guys back. Malik Beasley, you better bring back. And then you kind of build this team moving forward after you've seen – it's kind of like the Tigers, Caleb. Like, you've seen that they can go to the playoffs. Now put some pieces around these guys and, like, get them that next step. So,
yeah, and last thing, chat, I'm going to let you talk about this. We don't give Simone Fontecchio any more minutes, right? I mean, he's not good. He's bad. He's bad. I mean, he was decent last year for a stretch of games. I was excited, but he's bad, right, chat? Am I wrong? Am I being mean for saying that? He shouldn't get any minutes?
Jeff's going to come out of the abyss and start chirping in the chat that you're talking about his boy, but
I don't know. I think Jeff's kind of on the. I think Jeff kind of gave up a little bit. I mean, dude, because that's a fight.
That's what you think.
Hard battle to fight. That's a hard battle to fight. But tonight, oh, you know what? Also, Weezy D keeps reminding me of things I just keep forgetting to talk about. Shout out Weezy D. Ron Holland, yes, sir. I was wrong about Ron Holland. I'll say it. If you dig up a tweet, I said I hated the pick. I am back on Ron Holland. He's exactly what Detroit needed. He's a hustle player. He's shooting it well lately. He runs in transition. He plays defense. Ron Holland is that dude. That was the right pick at 5. He might end up being the best player in this draft. I do like me some Dalton Connect. I do like me some Jared McCain. But Ron Holland is that dude. Yes. All right. Sorry, I just bumped my mic.
You said you were a Dalton Connect guy. Hey, that was me and Booner. Me and Booner were big Dalton Connect guys.
Dude, he is good.
He's the man.
Like, he can handle the ball. He's athletic. He could shoot. That guy's good. I think he's going to be the best player in this class. I mean, obviously, I think Risa Shea, I know he's been playing well lately. I think he stinks. I think Alex Sarr is going to be a no one. This class was so bad. I like Stephon Castle a lot. Stephon Castle is going to be a good player. Koulibaly, I like Koulibaly. But, I mean, Ron Holland.
It's still very up in the air who's going to be the best.
Koulibaly, I think, was last year.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's still up in the air. Still up in the air. But yeah, I was a Dalton Connect guy. But Ron Holland, that was the right pick at 5, honestly.
Me and Boone were all in on Dalton Connect. Yeah, there's Boone right now. He's a bucket. Boone said.
Dude. So good. All right, Mike. All-Star Weekend. I'm just gonna ask you straight up. Dumb format. I mean, this is a dumb format.
Why did Weezy just catch me? I just caught a stray. Dalton Connect's BMG's age. Oh man.
That's mean, Weezy.
Ron is really young, and I'm actually older than Dalton Connect, so I appreciate the compliment,
though. Young and spry. Yeah. Dude, that is really weird to think about. I mean, I'm 23, 4 years older than Ron Holland. Kind of makes me feel a little bit shitty, Mike. I used to look up to these guys, and I guess in a sense I still do. But dude, I'm older than Ron Holland, and that's a guy I idolize almost.
It's tough. It's tough getting old.
All right, we're gonna end the show right here. No, I'm kidding. But Mike, dumb format for the All-Star game. I mean, dumb format.
Yeah, I don't get it. And I mean, we kind of talked about it a little last week. I think they should, when we talked about them voting for people and whatnot, I think they should just go back to the East and West. I mean, make it competitive. Throw the regular jerseys on them. Just do it old school. Although I don't really hate their jerseys that they have on for this coming All-Star game. But I don't know. I just don't like the format. The games just kind of seem boring at this point in time. And obviously they're trying to limit as much, of the nonsense basketball you would seem. But I don't think this format really helps that. I don't know.
I'm not 35, man. When did I say I'm 35? I'm 23. I still got years to go. Hopefully. I don't know. But yeah. This format's weird, dude. This format, I don't like it. They tested out yesterday.
Do you like the old one?
Just the game?
Yeah, just do the game.
Yes, just do the game.
Old jerseys, you got to wear your own jersey. Wear the white ones. The other teams wear the aways. And dude, like we said, there needs to be some sort of incentive behind it. If that gets either team fired up, give them some money, do whatever.
And dude, that Rising Stars team is going to get their shit kicked in. Maybe that's going to add to the competitive, nature of it, because those Rising Stars are going to want to go out there and beat the All-Stars. But I don't know. I just don't like it. Like watching it
I
yesterday.
forgot
it was like, this
what
is
team
weird.
do they play today? The Rising Stars team. Don't they play Bronze team?
Yes, I think they do. Or no?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think.
I mean, not like it really matters. All those teams are loaded, but like,
Yeah. Or no. Maybe they play Cade's team. Because I think what they did on purpose maybe is they took all those young guys. I don't know. I'd have to double check. But yeah, I don't really like that rule at all. That's just me. I mean, because we watched it a
Chad,
little
who
bit
do they play?
yesterday.
Do they play Cade's team or they play Bronze team?
Yeah, I have no clue. But they're going to get their ass kicked, respectfully, unless Dalton connects on the team. I didn't even watch the end of the game after Asar lost
Just
because
like,
I was.
it's all
I
the
was
free
like,
throws.
Yeah, this is bad. Yeah, they play Bronze.
Weekend ruined. Yeah, Booner said they play Bronze team. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
So,
they're going to get their butts kicked, unfortunately. But
maybe that will kind of like steer them from doing this. To be like, wasn't a good idea to do this, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this was a bad idea from them. And I was an Adam Silver guy, but I'm starting not to like him at all because the stuff he's doing. I think this All-Star game stuff weird. The in-game tournament or whatever, the in-season tournament, I don't like. It's kind of all a little corny to me. Just play the game, dude. Like you watch highlights of like these 2007, 2008 All-Star games, they're sweet. That's just the way it should be done. But do you have any like picks that stand out for you for tonight? The 3-point contest and the dunk contest?
I don't know. Let me check it out. You got any real quick? I want to.
I mean, I mean, Dame is the favorite plus 280 for the 3-point contest. Chat, you could bet your bottom dollar. I'm taking Cade plus 1,300. You could bet I'm taking that. But Buddy Hield plus 450. That's my value pick. I like Buddy Hield plus 450. I think he can win it. Dame plus 280. I don't know. Norman Powell plus 450. Yeah. Darius Garland plus 600. Tyler Hero could be a sleeper plus 800. I don't know about Brunson. Cam Johnson plus 1,000.
Cade at plus 1,400.
I'm gonna take it, and it's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna take it.
No, I'll take him too. But I think if I was betting on like one of these dudes for real, I would probably take Norman Powell. I don't know.
He's a bucket.
I think that would be my pick. He's balling this year, so
probably should have been an all-star.
Yeah, probably should.
25 points.
I mean, West is tough. I mean, they're all tough, but I mean, some guys like Trae Young, you could say got snubbed down the East. There'll be snubs every year. So,
and then the dunk contest. Do we even need to talk about it? Mac McClung minus 190, Andre Jackson Jr. plus 550, Matas Uzelis plus 600, Stephon Castle plus 600. I'm just going to take Stephon Castle. I don't know. Yeah, or just nothing. I'm going to take nothing.
But I'm not betting on the dunk contest, but Mac McClung will probably win. But if I was, I'd take Castle too.
Mike, I'm kind of stuck in a tough situation here.
What do we got, Caleb?
Because obviously I want to see Cade perform. But I mean, this game tonight, Mike, 4 nations face off. Let's go. USA versus Canada. Even odds. Minus 110, both sides. Over under 6.5. What do you think about this game?
It's going to be electric. That's one thing. I mean, Team USA obviously started out really slow the other day, and then they end up putting up 6-1. And then Canada starts out pretty hot, and then lets Sweden back into the game. To be honest, I don't know if you want my pick here, I think I'm going to go USA here. I don't know. I think the physicality for the forwards, I think, could be the difference maker. I think both teams have really good speed. I think there's probably some juggling that you could do as far as the lines go for USA, maybe move some guys around on the power play. But I think the Chuck brothers, I mean, these dudes, I hate Brady when the Red Wings are playing him. And but to have those two guys on your team is kind of just like a different feeling. There's ultimate gritty guys, and they're going to be stirring it up all day or all night rather in Canada tonight. So it's going to be an electric game. Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, McKinnon on Canada's side, they looked electric on the power play. That's going to be tough. So it's going to be a goaltending battle. I don't really think this is going to be like, trading goals back and forth as much as both offenses are great. I still think it's probably going to be, 2-2, 2-2, whatever, 3-3, kind of down to the stretch. It's going to be pretty close, but I like the USA here, Caleb. I know you've been tuning in. Well, what are your thoughts so far on this? Like, I mean, this kind of replaced their all-star game, and this is electric stuff. I mean,
like, it's the coolest thing of all time. I mean, the Four Nation face-off has been unbelievable, and I'll say this too: we were a goal away from being rich men. We were a goal away. Tough. McKinnon, who I forgot who else was in it, but yeah, goal away. We won't get into that now because that was sad. Went into OT. I thought we had a chance there, but the Four Nations face-off has been unbelievable. And we saw the first game of the thing. Lukas Raymond got the third star. He earned the third star, 2 assists for Sweden. Obviously they lost. But, I mean, playing in a game with guys like, Crosby. Was McDavid on that? It was McDavid.
McDavid's on Canada, yeah.
Yeah, McDavid, Crosby. Playing in a game like that, earning a third star in a game like that just shows he's should be talked about as one of the best young players in hockey. He already is, but I mean, earning a third star in that game, that's pretty unreal. And how much does that mean for just Lukas Raymond as a player to play on that stage and then earn an accolade like that?
Yeah, well, like Sweden in these type of competitions is always one of the best teams in this. Obviously USA, Canada. If Russia had a team, they were always good in these type of competitions too. But for him to just be in there is just unreal. And you kind of seen him when it first started. He was on the lower lines, and then his impact throughout the game, you kind of see he had that jump rather than some of those forwards, so they boosted him up. But you're playing against the best of the best, and to be a third star against Team Canada, like you said, totally loaded roster. Even Sweden roster is loaded. They have guys that, you could say are better than Lukas Raymond right now. But for a young guy like him to kind of step up on this biggest stage, and I don't want to say be a leader, but, kind of be that guy for Sweden when they really needed one. And like I said, he was third line to start that game, finishes. I'm pretty sure he finished on the first line. So a lot of movement there, and, it's good for him. And it's kind of, I wouldn't say that the eyes weren't on him and people didn't know about Lukas Raymond, but this just kind of helps his cause more, kind of being that like superstar push, you could say, kind of like Cade has been getting the past month or so or whatever. But it's good for Raymond. And I think the next thing that we should see is Team USA needs to figure out how to use Dylan Larkin, because I want to say I was watching that third period, and I don't know the exact number, but he wasn't on the ice very much. And he's one of the more, I want to say he's like second, like third of power play goals as far as the entire NHL goes. And he not seeing time on either of those power plays. And for the first 2 periods, those power plays didn't look good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think they kind of are misusing him, especially because they're going to need him against Team Canada, and they're going to need those speed guys, Jack Hughes. Those guys are going to be huge, Canada, with their top guys, McKinnon, McDavid, those guys are going to be flying. So you're going to need to counter that. And then you're going to need the physicality that you're going to get from Brady and Matthew and a few of those other guys. So I would expect you to see Dylan Larkin bouncing around a little bit. I typically would know him. He's probably not too happy about how that game panned out for him. Obviously, they just want to win. That's really all that they care about. But he's definitely being misused a little bit.
Yeah. And by the way, Chad, drop your mailbag questions. We're going to do mailbag here in a little bit, but yeah, you're right. Watching that USA game, you were right. The power play didn't look good in the first 2 periods. And I remember texting you like, wow, they really don't look good. It was 1-0 at a point, 1-1. It was 2-1 going into the third period. Yep. And then obviously, they just started pouring it on. They just showed that we're more talented than these guys. And but Lukas Raymond, I want to, because you're right. Like, why is he not on the ice more during that power play? I think and correct me if I'm wrong here, Mike, and I don't know if you have it in front of us, but did they go 0-2 in the power play in the first 2 periods, or 0-3 or something?
I don't have it pulled up, but yeah, either way, the USA one should have had Dylan Larkin on at least the bumper spot on the second power play too. No one will tell me any different about that. He's one of the best players at that position and on the power play in the league. Lukas Raymond, I want to say he was on their power play too, but as the game went on, he kind of got moved up a little bit. But I don't know. I still think after that game, you'll kind of see Lukas Raymond. He won't be that staggered in their lineup. I think you'll kind of see him more to the top. Dylan Larkin's still a question, or it remains to be seen. I still think he had an impact when he was out there. And more of an impact than some of the other guys. So we'll see how he gets moved around. Like I said, he should be on that power play. Maybe that changes against Canada. We're a team that they're going to need to use their speed too. So,
Mike, I'm on the app right now, and we're going to take a little look at these some of these props. What do you think? I'll throw some out for you. Goal scores. Austin Matthews plus 185, McKinnon plus 195, McDavid plus 210, Jack Hughes plus 230. You want to talk shots on goal?
No.
Just goals?
Just goals. I would pick, just two people off this list. I'll go one from Canada and one from USA. I would do Sam Reinhart for Team Canada. Had a few.
He fucked us the other day.
What? Yeah, but he had so many good opportunities to score, and he's one of the best goal scorers in this game. He's going to be around the net gritty, so I could see him. And I would go either of the Jacks. I would go Jack Hughes or Jack Eichel for the old Team USA. So
no Austin Matthews.
You could go him too, but I mean he's the favorite of the goal scorer. Jack Hughes was kind of all over the place that last game too. He had a lot of good scoring chances, and then Jack Eichel just always shows up in big games. So it's Captain Jack. So I would take those guys.
What's so fun about this game is that it's even odds. So all you have to work, because obviously I'm gonna throw some cheddar down on USA money line, but that's all you have to worry about. Is because you don't have to, it's not minus 210, so you have to, parlay it with something else to make it whatever. It's minus 110, even odds. So you just take that and root for the great country of America to win a hockey game. I mean, this is going to be electric. Yeah. It's at 8 o'clock, right?
Yep, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. I'm actually kind of surprised. I figured, I don't know if that it would have been even. I figured Canada would have probably been favored by a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe that, like you said, that third period for Team USA kind of maybe just shored things up. Maybe if it ended how it was going those first two periods, I don't know. But because Sweden's obviously a better team than Finland. Finland's defense, that game, how it ended, that's how it should have probably been throughout the entire game. So it was a slow start for USA. But
the goal, who was the goalie for Finland? Because the first two periods, he was amazing, dude. He was unreal. And I was getting pissed off because I was on USA minus 1.5, and I just wanted to see them win.
He was good for sure, but to be honest, it was more on Team USA, and they kind of got more to their game as far as that third period goes. Just getting shots on, kind of bouncing around a little bit, and just getting the defense out of place. Like I said, they're Ole Mata, respectfully, old Red Wings D-man, great guy. He is not a first-line D-man, and he was playing on the first line for Finland. I mean, they have Alexander Barkov. They have a lot of good centers that I guess you could say are more defensive, some defensive forwards, but Canada will have their way when they play that Finland team. And it will, that third period will probably be throughout the third period that USA have, you'll see that probably throughout 3 periods with Team Canada, because it's not their first game of the year. They're going to be two or what? Now there'll be 3 games in playing Finland. They are going to fucking destroy them.
In hockey, especially in the Four Nations, when you talk about it in, for basketball, these guys are just super talented. They get all, the best players could just all team up and put up points, play defense. They're, and in football, we don't really see it in football, but in baseball, you don't really need that chemistry. In hockey, how difficult is it for them just to kind of team up with each other and just go? How much chemistry is needed to I think
all these guys are kind of so skillful, and they do get a couple practices together, not like that, just instant chemistry. But there is Team Canada has a full line of Tampa Bay Lightning forwards, and then there you got the Chuck brothers playing on Team USA, and a lot of these guys on Team USA, Team Canada, even Sweden, no matter what country it is, they played together throughout years and going through these competitions. A lot of the same players are reoccurring on the team and whatnot. So it is tougher, but when you are so skilled and these are the highest, like you said, all-stars, the highest skilled players at the NHL level, I think they kind of just pick it up as they go and, use their skills to benefit each other.
Yeah. Well, Mike, I'm excited to watch. I'm excited to see USA beat some ass, get a dub.
Let's go.
And
USA.
hopefully we'll win some money tonight. And I might post my picks on Twitter for 3-point contest and
the Cade Cunningham money.
Four Nations. I mean, it's going to I'm putting my money on Cade Cunningham, Mike. I'm doing it plus 1,300. Give me that all day. Is he going to win it? I don't know. But as a backup plan, I'm going Buddy Hield plus 450. I'm going to do that as well. Mike, you got anything else before we wrap it up? I got some fucking snow to shovel outside. I mean, this is madness.
Yeah, it doesn't look good out there. Prayers. But no, thanks everyone tuning in always. Appreciate you guys. Have a good Saturday. Let's go Team USA.
Go Team USA. Peace.